Unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen AI colouring books. And if you've been making them, you need to watch this video. Now, AI is an absolutely fantastic tool. However, what I don't think it should replace is artistry, illustrations, and for things like colouring books, it's a very fine line to walk. And from my experience, hand-illustrated colouring books are always going to outperform the AI-generated content ones. However, I and many other publishers have seen some success with AI-generated colouring books. But there are a ton of really low-quality AI-generated books flooding the Amazon marketplace. And so what this video is going to do is look at what you should not be doing with your AI colouring pages. So to start with, we're just going to come on over to Midjourney, which is where a vast majority of people create their AI colouring pages. And you can see here some example illustrations. And so all you need to do to generate your image is to give a prompt at the top. And so let's try and generate a dragon colouring page. So for that, I've done colouring page, detailed, epic dragon flying through the sky, clouds in the background, clean lines, and a white background. On Midjourney, you can also include the dash dash to add a no command. So we're going to try and remove as much shading as possible. So if we click enter, let's see what Midjourney comes up with. Okay, so here are a few of the illustrations. And you can tell straight away that they're AI generated and not very high quality. So I'm going to go into Photoshop and I'm going to show you some issues with this AI generated image that a lot of AI generated colouring pages suffer with. So the first major thing here is that this dragon has 5 arms and legs. So straight away, that is one issue with this image. And if you're not going in and you're not retouching these images, straight away that's going to be really poor quality and a very bad customer experience on Amazon. The way to fix this would just be to remove this leg like that. And there we go. Now this image has the right amount of limbs, so that is good. But looking at this image, there's also a load of other inconsistencies here. So the thing that I like to think about when generating AI images is, does it look realistic? Does it look like an illustrator has made this image? And straight away, the answer is no. And that is because it's got some very light clouds here in the background, but then a very, very detailed, dark outlined dragon here. So that's one thing straight away. The second is the inconsistencies with the wing. So I've got one wing here, but no second wing. Another thing is if we zoom in, you can just see all of this mess here. And this is one issue with a lot of AI generated content. Just loads of random inconsistencies. So look at this. You've got random squiggly lines, random dots, that kind of like extra detail that an illustrator wouldn't add. And so pretty much wherever you look on this image, you'll see random details that have no reason to be there. And so if you wanted to create this image and sell it as an AI colouring book, you would definitely need to retouch this. I'd even advise that this generated image is too poor quality. But let's say we went around and we fixed all of these imperfections and we made it a much better colouring page. One additional thing which screams very poor AI generated colouring books is when you zoom in, you can just see how blurry this image is. And that's because generally the AI generated content is relatively low resolution. And so what this means is when it's printed within a book, it's going to be blurry. And so if you're just creating AI generated colouring pages, adding them to a document and uploading on Amazon, the image is going to be pretty blurry. They're not going to be nice and sharp, which is what you want for a colouring book. It's going to scream low quality. It's going to scream that it's made with AI, and you're going to get 1-star reviews. One way of fixing this is by using an upscale tool like Big JPG. So all you do here is upload your image, select the upscaling amount. I like to upscale it by 4 times. And then you can also do a noise reduction as well. I've added this to Photoshop and you can see the difference between the two. So this is the original here. It's quite blurry. And if we click this one, you can see it's a lot sharper. Now, it's definitely still not perfect, but at least this one's going to print at a high resolution and it's not going to have those blurry lines. I'm just going to show you a few examples of some other AI generated colouring pages so you can see what to look out for. Here's another one here, And, if you're trying to do a cool dinosaurs in space coloring book, you might look at this and think, yeah, this looks cool. But you've got a moon or planet in the background here, and the lines don't even match up, which is absolutely terrible. You've got a random half moon here included. You've got a spaceship, which, is nonsensical. It is ugly. It's not a great colouring experience. And you've got a load of just random little circles dotted around, which make, no sense. And that's what I find with a lot of the AI generated colouring books. There's inconsistencies with the lines, which means when you're colouring in, you're going to have a bad time. And there's a lot of random inconsistencies. There's loads of random squiggles, loads of random lines, and they can be quite low resolution as well. And so you might be asking me, why does this even matter? If you just want to create a ton of AI generated books, upload them up on Amazon and try and get some sales, you might be thinking, hey, I don't need to worry about this. But you do. Firstly, what Amazon are interested in is creating a good customer experience. And if you're uploading a ton of low quality AI generated crap, I think you're likely to get some of your books blocked. And you could even see your account maybe being banned in the future. So what you want to be focusing on is, if you're using AI to make colouring books, it needs to be extremely high quality AI generated content. Back when the AI craze kicked off, you could get away with uploading AI generated colouring books and not getting too many 1 or 2 star reviews. Whereas now consumers are completely clocking onto things that are AI generated, going on it, buying it, and then just leaving it 1 star. And so if I come on over to Amazon here, I'll show you an example. So here's a random dragon adult colouring book that I found on Amazon. You can see it looks pretty similar to what I just showed you. It's fairly low quality AI. You've got random lines that don't meet up. And so whilst maybe on first inspection this looks quite impressive, when you actually dive deeper and have a look at, how it works as a colouring page, it's pretty low quality. So it does look like this person's at least gone in and retouched and tried to make them a bit better. But AI has its limitations, and unless you're spending hours on every image, this is the type of quality it's going to likely come out as. And if we scroll down, we can see that some consumers are picking up on the AI generated content. And that's why there's 24% of people giving this book a 1 star review. And if we have a look at what people are saying, AI prints are super sloppy. You can just tell these aren't hand drawn or even looked through before printing. One girl is straight up missing an arm, which is what I said earlier about missing limbs, extra limbs, etc. Come on, Amazon, get it together. And so I do think that in the near future, there's going to be a bit of a pushback on AI colouring books, which, I think is for the best. Because if people are buying colouring books from Amazon and keep getting poor quality AI generated content, they're going to stop buying colouring books on Amazon. And so at some point, Amazon is going to shift its mentality towards AI colouring books. And what you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be on the bad end of having those poor quality books. You want to make sure you're providing a good customer experience, and that if you are publishing AI generated content, that it's as high quality as it possibly can be. This is maybe a slightly better AI colouring book. And so if we click the read sample button, we can look inside. You see here there's a lot less inconsistencies. So there's not much shading here, which is important, but you can definitely tell it's AI generated content. And what this person's done is that they've just increased the brightness and the contrast to remove a lot of the imperfections. But you can still see, in my opinion, that yes, this might be doing okay at the moment, but I think long term people will clock on that this is AI, and therefore the sales will start going down and it will start getting some less positive customer reviews. So this is definitely an AI generated colouring book. It's better quality than the previous one, and that is why it's got 4.6 out of 5 stars. But if we click on the customer reviews, all it takes is for one person to be really annoyed with the quality of the AI generations. Look at this, for example, and they'll put up a 1 star review, put up some photos, put up some videos, and that can really tank your AI colouring book. And this book, for example, it could just have 1 image out of 50 that's not been retouched. And that's all it takes. Just takes that 1 image that's got an extra limb, maybe something's been missed, but that's all it takes to get a 1 star review on Amazon, because people who love colouring pretty much hate AI generated content. Now that's using Midjourney, which tends to do that more kind of realistic style in terms of a colouring page. Here's an example of my book, which is also made with AI, But I made this one with Dzine, which does a bit more of a nice line art style. And so you can see here, there's a lot less imperfections. Yes, it's a very different style. It's a bit more of a kind of bold and easy style. But if there were any imperfections within this image, I'd go in and I'd retouch them and I'd remove them. If we scroll down here to some of the examples, you can see that there's full lines. There's not any imperfections with things like the clouds. I added text in myself to make sure that it was high quality. And that's what you want to be doing as well. So if you're creating AI coloring books, I think both consumers and Amazon are going to start cracking down on those. So you need to make sure they're as high quality as possible, you're removing imperfections. And in my opinion, I think that kind of AI coloring book craze has passed. Unless you're creating individual images, adding them to a canvas and creating something really beautiful and bespoke. I think in 2025 and beyond, you're not going to get many sales with AI generated coloring books on Amazon. Now you might disagree with me, or you might be an illustrator and absolutely hate AI generated content. Whichever end you're at, let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on AI coloring books. All right, that's it for this video. If you're generating AI coloring books, I hope it was helpful to give you a bit of advice of what to look for before publishing. And if you're a consumer of coloring books, now you know what to look out for. All right, thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.